welcome to this week's midweek press conference with the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. So I will be I don't know what you're talking about. This is Bengals midweek press conference. What's MaddenCast? This is the Bengals midweek press conference. I come sit here at this table and you guys ask me questions about the Bengals and I answer no. What? No. Bengals midweek Vols? Who's Vols? Wedding? What? No. Questions. I'm taking questions about the Bengals, so let's have it. What's the first question about the Bengals? Anybody? I'm not answering that. Why am I not? Because this is the Bengals midweek press conference, not MaddenCast, where we talk about the entire league. What are you talking about? Okay, I'll play along. You want to know my thoughts about the Rams? I'm getting to it. Chill out. I think the Rams were incredibly disrespected. Like, hands down, the dude had the best ranking or the best record in the entire league, and because he lost one game was shoved down to the 6th spot and 9 wins, and there was a 6-win team above him. Like, who's making these power rankings? Let's not answer that question. I think the Rams was massively disrespected. I think he has a lot to prove. He's consistently performed on like the top level, but for some reason we continue to disrespect him and not view him in the same regard that we view Bread. Should we view him in the same light that we view Bread? Like, the dude routed Bread in the regular season last year when they were in the same division. And it wasn't until the playoffs when Brett would have his number. But overall, I think the Rams disrespected. And I had the chance to do an interview with him about all of that, and it was probably one of the best interviews I think that we've ever done in the league. If you didn't get a chance to check that interview out, check it out. Good read. I wouldn't let the children read it though, because I had to blur out a lot of words. So, next question. If we can, let's make it about the Bengals, because this is the Bengals midweek press conference, not MaddenCast, whatever the heck that is. Can you not ask questions about the Bengals? Like, this is the Bengals midweek press conference. Oh, you really want me to answer this question? Okay, I guess I can answer. Who is my dark horse to win it all? When I say, I'm assuming when you ask dark horse, you're not looking for the typical answer, because I think the typical answer for a lot of people would be that Brett is going to win another one. It would be that Joe is going to carve his name into the wall of champions. A lot of people would be looking for names like that. But I have a dark horse that I stand firmly behind. Someone that I think could go all the way here in Maddenheads United. I also think that this person has an incredible amount of potential, but I also question, is this guy giving everything he has? Because I believe very strongly that this guy could go a lot further. And I think one of the reasons he doesn't go a lot further is I'm not convinced that he puts in the time to go a lot further. The guys who are at the top end of the scale, for the most part, barring a few exceptions, they are guys that put in a ton amount of work into this game, and I don't know if this guy puts in that amount of work. I think he's just naturally good. I think if he went the extra mile, I think it could go a long way. But the guy that I think is the dark horse to win it all is the Falcons owner. There have been how do I want to say this? There have been some of his games that I've watched that have absolutely blown me away. I remember watching his game in the preseason tournament, and the reads that he was making in that tournament, I was absolutely blown away. I said last year, in the aftermath of the first playoff season, the first playoffs, that I believed that Terrorize could go all the way and win it all and put his name on the wall of champions. And anytime he came up in chat, his skill level came up in chat. That is what I said. And in the same breath that I said that about Terrorize, I am saying this about the Falcons owner. He could go all the way. Also, interesting fact that some may not be aware of. I don't know if really even Falcons, like, he doesn't really seem to brag a lot about it. If I was him, I'd be bragging about it all the time. But the dude actually played in the NFL. Like, there is a video that occasionally gets shared in chat of him picking off a pass in the end zone and taking it in for a pick six. I believe he was a linebacker. Actually played in the NFL, so he's got a lot of game knowledge to not necessarily game knowledge, but like not game as in like game Madden, game as in game knowledge, game of football. He has a lot of, I would say he has a lot of knowledge because he's played on the highest level there is to play. But yeah, that's my thoughts on my dark horse to win it all. Any other questions? And if we can, please make them Papa Bingles, not everything else. And of course, a question about everything else. This kind of goes back to our first question. The first question was my thoughts on Rams and how they're disrespected with the power rankings. Now you want to know my overall thoughts on the power rankings. There's a lot that goes into them. And it can't just be like win-loss records. Like, that can't be the only factor. And a lot of people can kind of get their feathers ruffled when looking at the power rankings, and things seem out of place because the win-loss records don't necessarily line up. I just think there's other factors that play into it. But overall, I think the win-loss record is a sure tell sign of where one would stand. But again, like for example, at the time of me filming this right now, I'm filming this on, what is it today? I can't keep track of time. I'm on Thursday. Today is Friday, so I'm filming this midday Friday. And this morning, Chargers, Ray play the winless Cardinals, and it looked like the winless Cardinals was going to beat Ray until post the 2-minute warning of the game. Like, that win is going to be chopped up as a win for Ray. But the struggles that he had in that game against the winless Cardinals, to me, like, I don't see that game as, okay, it's a win, he should rise in the power rankings. I see that game as pretender, you know? there's other variables that go into determining the power rankings and just win-loss record. And I'll leave that at that. My thoughts on Ray. We're not talking about Ray. We are not talking about Ray. No. Any other questions? My thoughts on my season so far in Madden Heads United and the struggles I've had. At the moment, I'm 1-9. Record's not looking too good. If you're familiar with me, you most likely know I've always had struggles in Madden. Like, I don't think I've ever made the playoffs. I've gotten close a few times, but I always come up short, and that's kind of my story in Madden. I come up short. And when I approached this first season, I didn't necessarily approach it with the mentality of I'm going to win it all. I tried to approach it with realistic expectations, and that realistic expectation was the skill level in this league is insane, and I know I'm not up to par. So this first season, I'm going to learn. When I came in, I wanted to approach this first season as a chance to just lab, learn, grow, to put me in position to compete when season 2 comes around, and not only approach it in a sense to learn and grow, but also approach it in a sense to make moves to position my team for season 2. And I think I've done just that. Like, I am pleased with the progression that I've had. I wish I could have turned some of my close games into wins, but I've had some close games with some really good teams. I've had a very difficult schedule. Like, I played Bread, OMG, and Lone 3 weeks in a row. And coming off that, I believe I just played the Browns, which is, I give him a lot of hate, but he's better than his record shows. I've had a tough schedule, and I haven't been blown out in any of those games. I've been hanging in them. First half, I put up a fight. Second half, the other guy got on top, and I just fell. But I'm pleased with where I am as far as progression goes. Going into the off season, I'm going to have a lot of cap. I'm going to have 2 first-round picks. I'm going to have 3 second-round picks, and with the possibility of adding some more. I've already had a few trade talks, so I think I'll be able to do something. I think I'll be able to position my team in a good place going into season 2. So we'll see how it works out. I'm not judging my success this Madden by this first season. Like, this first season's a throwaway. Not really throwaway though, because I think I've accomplished a lot. Any other questions? I'm not answering that. No, I'm not answering it. Why am I not answering it? Because I'm not answering it. You're right. When we approached this Bengals press conference, because this isn't MaddenCast, I said I wanted questions about the Bengals, and this is one of the few questions we've had about the Bengals, so I'll answer it. I'll talk about it. The topic of sub linebacker, or safeties at sub linebacker, and the drama that unfolded with it involving me. I will step up to the bat and take full credibility. I was in the wrong, and I had a sub linebacker or a safety in as sub linebacker, Sean Williams, against the Saints. Early in the season, I had two of my starting linebackers get injured. I'd already traded away Vontaze Burfict, so I was pretty weak at linebacker. So I put Sean Williams in at sub linebacker to help compensate. And in doing that, I did not think I was breaking a rule. You would think I would know all the rules. I do know all the rules, but I look at it as a misunderstanding of the rules. I had assumed that sub linebacker was an entirely different beast than linebacker. That might not make sense, but in my mindset, sub linebacker was completely new to this Madden, and my understanding was the position was for this very thing, to bring in guys like a safety for extra pass coverage and like nickel and dime formations and stuff like that. So I misunderstood the rule. So that's all that happened. Now, you're trying to make an issue out of nothing. Yeah, Lone was heated. And to add extra heat to it, he was further upset because he claimed that not only did I have one safety at the sub linebacker position, but I had two, because he pointed out that Eric Reed is a linebacker for me. And to that, I would say Eric Reed is completely legal at linebacker. League rules say that if a player played both linebacker and safety in the NFL, then interchangeable in the game. So I am innocent as far as Eric Reed goes. Is there any other questions? I'm liking these questions about the Bengals. Let's keep them coming. And of course, we get a question not related to the Bengals. What can we do? I like that question. What can we do to improve the league? You know, I like the question, but I don't like the question, because I feel like by answering the question, I am saying that there is something that I do not like about the league, something that I think is wrong about the league. I'm not sure how this will sound, but I don't think there is anything wrong with our league. I think we do a lot of things right. There's some things that we could do better, and there are things that I would like to see improve, things I would like to see done better, but I don't necessarily believe that we're doing anything incorrect. I mean, there's always areas that you can grow, you can step up in, and you can become more, you can become better. To look at something and think that I cannot become better in this, like, that's just pride and ignorance, and that's someone that's will never grow. And I want our league to grow. But what I like to change about our league, I can't necessarily put my finger on one thing. Of course, I would love to see guys be more active. I would love to see guys be more involved. We have a lot going on between like the articles and the podcasts and the shows and all that. The doors are open for anyone to get involved with it, for anyone to get involved with anything. And I'm someone that, how do I say this? I like to think outside the box and do new things. I don't necessarily just want to look at what's being done. I want to step outside the box and set the example of what can be done. So like I have this like mindset of like what I think that a successful Madden Has United looks like. But there may be someone within the league who has a creative ideal of something that we could do different. And I'm always open to hearing any ideal. And if you do have an ideal, I would love to come alongside you. We take that ideal together and we make something of it. How can we improve the league? How can we make the league better? For me, it becomes more of a question of where do I want to see the league at? Like, what do I want to see us become? Like, I feel like all cylinders are a go right now. I feel like we're running 100 miles an hour. Where would I like things to be at the end of this cycle? Maybe that's the way that I would like to have the question worded. Where do I want to see Madden Has United at the end of this cycle of Madden? For me, that's easy. I know where I want Madden Has United to be at the end of this cycle. And that is an example to other leagues. Like, I want other leagues to look at this league and say, that is how it's done. I want other leagues to look at this league and look at it in the sense of like, we need to strive to be more like that. And that's where I want us to be. And then next cycle of Madden, when we come in, I would like us to pick up the ball at that place and then take it to even further heights. Something that behind the scenes that I'm talking a lot about that I would also like to do kind of going forward is to network with other leagues, and something that I've been bouncing the idea a lot. Next year, whenever we do our preseason tournament, I would like to get other leagues involved in that. I'm not exactly sure how it would work, but I think it would be cool to have a collection of leagues competing in one tournament. I've scouted around and looked at a lot of different leagues to see how different places do different things, and something I've noticed is a lot of leagues do a similar preseason tournament to how we do it. So I would love to kind of connect with other leagues and say, hey, you're doing a tournament, we're doing a tournament, that league over there is doing a tournament, this league over here is doing a tournament. Let's all come together and do one big tournament and make it something more meaningful. So that's something kind of on the back burner that I would like to see done. But yeah, any other questions? Anybody? That's a dumb question. Are there any other questions? I like that question. One word to describe each team, each owner in the league. I don't know if I can do one word, but if not, I'll try and do one word. If I can't do one word for each owner in the league, I'll do a couple words. Sundance, credibility, Phoenix, a phoenix waiting to rise, Prevail, living up to his name, 49ers, Deloitte, I want to see more from this guy, Wood, a pillar, Mickey, an old soul, Devo, the wise village elder, Ray, hungry, lone, and anarchist. Raiders, he reminds me of, I haven't interacted too much with him, but when I have, he reminds me of a free spirit. JC Lentz, all business. Lions, I mean, is hungry. You know, I said Prevail. He's living up to his name. I mean, is hungry. I don't think he is living up to his name. Like, your name is I'm hungry. You don't look hungry. Prove it. Like, do something. Take that division. Like, the AFC North is getting a lot of hate. I think the same hate that the AFC North is getting. I think the Lions division should get the same hate. The AFC North has been pretty much the AFC North and the owners in it have pretty much been told to step up. I'm telling Imi is hungry in his division. Step up. You hungry? Show it. JTG, there's a mystique about him. Hotep. You know, he's not on the wall of champions, but he is a champion. He is a rock, a pillar, unmovable, unshakable. We have a Hall of Fame, but we haven't named anybody to the Hall of Fame yet. In my opinion, the only candidate worthy of being on the Hall of Fame is Hotep. But he wouldn't put himself up there, so that's not going to happen, and that's kind of his baby. I'm curious to see what he's going to do with it. Me, Sensi, King of the North, Jon Snow. Bills, Hellraiser. Nano, 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 nano blitz, nano blitz, nano blitz, nano blitz. Not really. Every time I've played Bills, I'm always overwhelmed with the pressure, with the blitz, with the heat. So that's why I say that. Vols, a friend. There's a couple people within like the Madden sphere that I've connected with over the years, and even when I took time away from Madden, still connected with, still talk to occasionally, and Vols was one of those guys. Taken and the Browns. You know, I say that I'm the king of the North, Jon Snow. Taken, originally, I had said that he would be Ramsay Bolton, but I'm not convinced. I've spent more time thinking about it, and I think that's too much a compliment, because Ramsay Bolton's like one of like the coolest, not coolest, but one of like, I don't know what the word is, an unforgettable villain. One of the best villains in the sense of like villainy, like not a guy that you like, he's a guy that you hate, and 5-star bad guy, you know, 5-star villain, 5-star adversary. So I don't necessarily want to throw that title on the Taken. I will say though, I want to stick with the Game of Thrones theme for the AFC North. Taken, he's Theon. Is he Theon or is he Reek? Think about it. And kind of staying in the AFC North, and I'll just hammer out the other guys in it. Bossman and the Ravens. I'll say he's Ramsay Bolton. I believe, like, he's not getting a lot of love, but I think this guy's a lot better than his record shows. I think he's a lot better than what is being cast on the AFC North. And going forward, I think he could be the one to run the yard in the AFC North. I think he could be the main adversary for my throne. So, I'm going Ramsay Bolton with the Ravens. And then Steelers. Mr. Denim and the Steelers. Little Joffrey. D-Chav and the Patriots. I would say he's on the cusp of breaking into the next level. Coastal Swag. I'd say he's underrated. Amazing. I would say he is a standard of what excellence should look like. Retro Mike. I want to see more from this guy. Mr. Green and the Falcons. I said it earlier. He's my dark horse. Frank, Colts. I don't like throwing love at Frank, but I would say he's an MVP within the community. Terrorize and the Jets. When I think about Terrorize, it brings me pride, because I said that he would be on the wall, and he is on the wall. Bread and the Chiefs. Brock Lesnar. OMG and the Bucks. Consistency. Seahawks. Vic is done. I want to see more from him. TBZ. Absolute loose cannon. And then the final owner, Jay Good and the Skins. I would say a hero. So yeah, that was fun. One word to quickly describe everybody. I believe we're approaching the half-hour mark, so let's try and wrap this Bengals midweek press conference up. No, it's not MaddenCast. It's Bengals midweek press conference. We can do MaddenCast whenever Vols gets back, but he abandoned us, so this is what you get. Take it or leave it. Okay. Archer Watch. You want to know about Archer Watch? Yeah. Basically, the Archer Watch is going to be it's hard to explain. I could try and explain it, but it probably wouldn't make sense if I explained it. So I'm going to wait until we actually do it to put out a lot of information so you can see what it's going to look like. But basically, I'm going to be tracking stats through this entire cycle, and in the end, we are going to name like the cycle MVP. So I'm excited about it. The first Archer Watch show I'm planning to release in week 19, and I think we're probably just going to do 3 Archer Watch shows per season. So there will probably be one like around the first few weeks of the season. There'll probably be one around the week 8 mark, and then one around week 19. Excuse me. But yeah, so that's that. We'll get to that, more info on that as we get closer. Maybe we'll see how it goes. Any final question? I already said I'm not talking about Ray. I'm not talking about him. Like, why am I not talking about him? Because he doesn't deserve for me to talk about him. Like, he thinks he's so good, high and mighty and mad, but he's not. Like, I don't care. I'm better than Ray at Madden. And when I play him, everybody will see. Everybody will see. I will bring him down. I guarantee I will beat Ray by 3 scores. Like, it's happening. I'm going to beat Ray by 3 scores. So, sorry, Ray. Like, you're a good guy and all, but sorry, dude. I'm going to rain on your parade. Like, maybe you'll still make playoffs after I hand you your loss, but you're not walking away from our game with a win. You've made things personal, Ray. So yeah, I'm not talking about Ray. I'm not talking about him. No, we are not talking about. I swear, if you ask me that question one more time, I'm gonna flip this table over and I'm gonna come over there and put my boot in your face. Yeah, that's right. You better walk away. Hope everyone. We're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna sign up before I go and kick that guy in his face. Everyone, I hope you all have a great day.